The rain hammered against the windows of the Old Bailey on a chilly November morning in 2025, the sound a relentless drumbeat that matched the pounding hearts inside Courtroom 5. This wasn't just another trial in London's historic halls of justice, it was a spectacle brewing into something unforgettable, the kind of story that could light up the internet and send a YouTube channel soaring. At the center of it all stood Judge Victoria Ramsay, a woman whose sharp gray eyes and no-nonsense demeanor had earned her a reputation as the Iron Lady of the bench. Her crimson robe seemed to glow under the courtroom lights, and her white wig sat perfectly atop her head, a crown for a queen of justice. She'd been presiding over cases for 22 years, her voice a whip that could silence a room in seconds, and today, that whip was primed to crack. To her right sat the jury, 12 strangers pulled from London's sprawling streets, a mix of shopkeepers, teachers, and retirees, their faces etched with the weight of what they were about to decide. In the dock, trembling slightly under the glare of every eye, was Jamal Carter, a 29-year-old delivery driver from Peckham, his dark skin glistening with sweat, his cheap navy suit wrinkled from a night in the cells. The charge was murder, a crime so brutal it had already made headlines across the UK, the stabbing of a teenage girl. Lily Evans, in a quiet alley off Camden High Street. The prosecution claimed Jamal had done it in a fit of rage after a late-night argument, a knife plunged into her chest 3 times, her body left bleeding out under a flickering street lamp. The evidence was damning. CCTV showed a figure in a hoodie matching Jamal's build fleeing the scene, a bloody knife found in a dumpster bore his DNA, and a witness, a shaky convenience store clerk named Rajesh Patel, swore he'd seen Jamal arguing with Lily just minutes before her screams pierced the night. Jamal Carter. She roared, her tone sharp enough to cut glass. You stand here accused of taking a young girl's life, snuffing her out like she was nothing. Do you know what this courtroom is? This is where truth comes to breathe, where justice sharpens its claws, and I'll be damned if I let you sully it with silence or lies. Jamal flinched, his hands gripping the dock's edge, but he didn't speak, his lips pressed into a thin line. Ramsay leaned forward, her eyes blazing. I've seen killers before, cowards who think they can hide behind a blank stare, but you? You're something else. The Crown says you stabbed Lily Evans, left her gasping in that alley, and ran like a rat. CCTV. DNA, a witness pointing the finger, and you've got nothing to say. The jury shifted, a young woman in the front row biting her lip, a man with a gray beard narrowing his eyes. The tension was electric, every word from Ramsay a spark that could ignite the whole room. The prosecution, led by a slick barrister named Simon Hargrove, laid out the case with chilling precision. Lily had been 17, a bright student with dreams of university, out walking home from a friend's house when she crossed paths with Jamal. Hargrove claimed they'd argued, something about a late delivery gone wrong, a petty dispute that spiraled into violence. He showed the jury grainy CCTV footage, a hooded figure lunging at a smaller one, then sprinting away as Lily crumpled. The knife, pulled from a dumpster 2 streets over, had Jamal's DNA on the handle, mixed with Lily's blood. Rajesh Patel took the stand, his voice trembling as he recounted seeing Jamal shout at Lily outside his shop, her pushing him away before storming off into the night. It was him, Rajesh said, pointing at Jamal. I know that face. The gallery gasped, Lily's mother sobbing audibly, and Judge Ramsay's face darkened, her fury simmering as she watched Jamal sit motionless, his head bowed. But Jamal's defense, led by a scrappy young barrister named Aisha Khan, told a different story, one that could turn this trial into a viral sensation. Aisha stood tall, her voice steady as she faced the jury, arguing that Jamal was a scapegoat, a working-class black man caught in a system eager to pin blame. She said Jamal had been home that night, eating dinner with his girlfriend, Tasha, after a long shift delivering packages across South London. Tasha testified, her hands shaking but her words firm, saying she'd cooked him shepherd's pie at 9:30 p.m., the exact time Lily was killed 8 miles away. A neighbor, Mrs. Dorothy Green, backed her up, swearing she'd seen Jamal's van parked outside his flat all evening. Aisha attacked the evidence. The CCTV was too blurry to identify anyone. The DNA could have come from a package Jamal delivered, Lily's family had ordered from his company that week, and Rajesh's story didn't add up. He'd changed details between statements. This is a rush to judgment, Aisha pleaded. Don't let an innocent man pay for someone else's crime. Judge Ramsey wasn't having it. As Aisha finished, Ramsey's voice exploded again, shaking the courtroom walls. Innocent. Innocent. She shouted, slamming her gavel so hard the wood creaked. You expect this jury to believe that nonsense when a girl's blood stains his hands? When a witness saw him screaming at her? When the cameras caught him running? This isn't a fairy tale. Miss Khan, it's a murder trial, and I'll see justice done. Jamal looked up, his eyes meeting hers for the first time, and he spoke, his voice quiet but clear. I didn't kill her, my lady. I swear it. I don't even know her. The room froze, the jury leaning forward, the gallery holding its breath. Ramsey's face twisted, her anger a tidal wave. You swear it? She snarled. Your oaths mean nothing when the evidence screams guilt. You think you can sway us with a sob story? I've heard better from liars half your age. The trial stretched into its fifth day, each hour a battle between the Crown's cold facts and the defense's desperate pleas. The prosecution brought experts, a forensic scientist who swore the DNA match was 99.9% certain, a detective who traced Jamal's van near Camden hours earlier. But Aisha countered with her own weapons, a tech analyst who called the CCTV useless, showing how shadows distorted the figure's face, and a private investigator who found a second witness, a homeless man named Eddie, who'd seen two men, not one, in that alley, neither matching Jamal's build. The jury scribbled notes, their faces a mix of doubt and determination. Lily's father took the stand, his voice breaking as he begged for justice. Calling Jamal a monster. Jamal's mother countered, sobbing that her son was gentle, hard-working, incapable of violence. The courtroom became a pressure cooker, every word stoking the fire, and Judge Ramsey ruled it all with an iron fist, her voice booming whenever tempers flared. The trial stretched into its fifth day, each hour a battle between the Crown's cold facts and the defense's desperate pleas. The prosecution brought experts, a forensic scientist who swore the DNA match was 99.9% certain, a detective who traced Jamal's van near Camden hours earlier. But Aisha countered with her own weapons, a tech analyst who called the CCTV useless, showing how shadows distorted the figure's face. And a private investigator who found a second witness, a homeless man named Eddie, who'd seen two men, not one, in that alley, neither matching Jamal's build. The jury scribbled notes, their faces a mix of doubt and determination. Lily's father took the stand, his voice breaking as he begged for justice, calling Jamal a monster. Jamal's mother countered, sobbing that her son was gentle, hard-working, incapable of violence. The courtroom became a pressure cooker, every word stoking the fire, and Judge Ramsey ruled it all with an iron fist, her voice booming whenever tempers. Closing arguments were a clash of titans. Hargrove stood before the jury, his tone icy. Jamal Carter took a life, he said. The evidence doesn't lie, DNA, cameras, a witness. Don't let his excuses cloud the truth. Give Lily the justice she deserves. Aisha followed, her passion raw. This is bigger than one man, she urged. It's about a system that picks the easy target, a black worker with no power, and ignores the cracks. Jamal's innocent. Don't ruin him to fix your doubts. Judge Ramsey gave her final charge, her voice steady but laced with venom. You've seen the blood, the tears, the proof, she told the jury. Sift through it all, but don't you dare let a killer walk free. Decide now, who's lying, and who's dead because of it. The jury deliberated for 7 agonizing hours, the courtroom emptying and refilling with nervous energy. Jamal sat in the dock, staring at his hands, while his mother prayed silently, her rosary beads clicking. Lily's parents held each other, their faces pale. Reporters typed drafts, sensing a story that could go viral. Guilty or not, this was gold. When the jury returned, the foreman, a wiry man with glasses, stood, his voice trembling. "Not guilty," he said. The room exploded, shouts, sobs, gasps blending into a roar. Lily's mother screamed, collapsing into her husband's arms, while Jamal's family cheered, rushing to him as he sank into the dock. Tears streaming down his face. Judge Ramsey slammed her gavel, her face a storm cloud. "Silence," she bellowed. "The jury's spoken, and that's the end of it. Carter, you're free, but if you're hiding anything, the law will find you." She rose, robe billowing, and stormed out, leaving chaos in her wake. The video would end there, a cliffhanger with a punch: justice served or justice denied. It was raw, real, and ripe for shares, the kind of story that could rocket a channel from obscurity to thousands of subscribers overnight. Jamal walked out into the rain, a free man, but the questions lingered, buzzing like flies. Was he truly innocent, or had the jury been swayed by doubt? The comments would light up, some calling it a triumph, others a travesty, and the views would climb, each click a step toward viral glory.